Marathon Public Library, take 3. I have some afterthoughts. I thought about when I went back to the library. And actually, the woman at the front desk happened to be the woman that I had discussed, that was interacting with this child. And as soon as she realized who I was, she ran and got the guy. Now this man, what I don't understand. What is she putting out there if I'm nuts? She's like, oh, I can yell at you. I can watch some 7-year-old berate her father like a adult woman. I can watch you watch a half-drunk local guy try to aggress on me at your defense when you didn't need any defending and you let it continue as if he was your... It was like it was very odd for you to let that man attack me for telling you that that what was happening was disturbing me. It's almost illegal. Yeah, go ahead, junk man. We don't like this guy, so we want you to like do something stupid, you know, and we're gonna watch. Who the hell knows what they think? So this male person, I think, you know, comes to the front desk after when I come back to the library, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours later, to voice my disapproval at the bad experience I had there. So she runs off. First she attacks me, then she runs off like the damsel in distress and sends out, you know, beta man, beta person. And I felt sorry for the guy because it's like sending him. I wasn't the wolves, but if this woman thought I was the wolves, why would she throw this meek man at me instead of just standing there and discussing the situation? They're nuts. I see a guy, what's this guy? This comedian named Burr. I don't know what his first name is. He's a anti-feminist comedian. And he hits the nail on the head every time. We should get $1 an hour more. We should get he said we should get $1 an hour more because we're the ones who stay on the ship when the women and children leave, when they get on the lifeboats. That's worth $1 an hour. And this is very similar. So this meek beta man is pushed at me by this angry woman when she felt like the damsel in distress. It's just insane. It's insane. What is she saying? What is she saying? Oh, I'm a girl. It's really what she's saying. When all along everything's equal. But she gets a little bit of a confrontation. Certainly not anything aggressively confrontational. Like, this is really disturbing me. That if that's reason to be kicked out of a library, then throw me out every time and I'll go out proudly. So she was, the librarian was willing to watch a conflict ensue to punish me for pissing her off. She did this awful thing to this child. And then she sends Beta Man up to the front desk. I felt sorry for the guy. He comes up and says, clearly, you know, she did it out of sexism. So anyway, but that's regardless. But just think of who she is. She's the big feminist, you know, who wants equal everything, yet she runs away, you know? Anyway, so this poor man comes up. It's like, what could she possibly have told him? He had a small reference to me. I spoke with him before. I told him when Tommy was coming out the door behind me, I said, listen, this is not cool. I said, I didn't sign up for this, you know. So anyway, but he comes out and in some pitiful, pathetic way, tries to right her wrong and wrong my right. And I said, sir, there is no defense for this situation. And he knew I was right, but he had to toe that line because she told him to. That's why. She, culture, the media, you idiots, and you lovely people, that we need to start calling this shit out everywhere. We got to start calling this stuff out for what it is and putting these people back in right size. Because this is, it's actually, it's in our institutions. It's ingrained in our institutions. In the school system, it's ingrained, this pathetic Obamism, and whatever else you want to call it, worse. It's certainly in not in law enforcement, but in the criminal justice system, it has its tentacles. And the civil justice system, certainly. It infects any social group that I've ever been in, be it a therapeutic environment or a common interests environment. It infects it. It's horrible. And it's so sad because they've completely lost the ability to love. That's the sad part. I mean, not everybody. A lot of people have it. But I tell you what, I'm going to tell a little story. This goes back to love and the politics of this country. When I was a kid, we used to go to the beach. We'd always go to the beach in the summertime, or to the lake, or to the, the swimming events at pools and things like that. And everywhere you went, you saw families, Now, here's proof for you idiots. When I walk on a beach in Florida, in New Jersey, it's a little different, but it's changed. When I walk on a beach in Florida, this is my warning to my Mexican and Cuban and Puerto Rican friends. They already know. They're screwed. We're screwed. So anyway, when I walk down the beach now, I used to see, I never saw black families because they were completely broken up by the state and politics, by the civil rights movement, affirmative action. Broke the family right up. Smashed it, smothered it, scattered it across the universe. Put the woman in state aid and the man in state care and scattered it. And the children in foster care, and these sons of bitches are bitching about a couple thousand people trying to sneak across the border on their own free will, knowing full well that if they get caught, they will be momentarily separated from their children while they're getting processed as adult criminals. You idiots! It happens to my African American and white American. You know how many families are in jail and foster care children? My God. Straighten it out, You got to be kidding me. So anyway, but now the only families I see on the beach anymore are Latino families. You're 20 years from it being over. They'll ruin your family. They'll crush. They'll destroy your family. And scatter it across the country from financial and political reasons. That's what they'll do. And power. So you're one generation from losing what it took the world centuries to take away from us, the family. And they don't even see it because they're so caught up in the fight. And I'm not the greatest example of a family man. I'm a divorced father. One sister, I really don't get along with that well. I'm not the greatest. But that doesn't make me any more short-sighted, Just because I have a small family unit, it doesn't make me short-sighted in what I see. And what I see is the destruction of the family. And nothing good comes from that. The only thing good that comes from the destruction of your families, of the families, the masses' families, the pitting oneself against each other, the crushing of any higher power of any sort that might be able to carry us through things that we can't carry ourselves through. When they talk about God and things like that, and they say, well, science proved there's no God. I don't give a shit what science proves. You know what? they're asking the wrong question. I'm all over the place, but they're asking the wrong question. It don't matter if God exists or not, guys. I say he does, but it don't matter. What matters is, can we as a human species, spiritually, culturally, lovingly, stay on a path without humility? And the only place we'll ever get humility is in God. This is one nation under God. These fucking politicians are screwed because our laws, our right to speak, fuck you, you fucking, excuse my French, but I'd like to say this to my social justice warrior fucking freaks. Fuck you and your hate speech. Fuck you. I don't like you. In fact, I hate you. There. I ain't gonna do nothing to you, but I can't stand you. And you should be shrunk down to size. You should be relegated to the end of every line that we have in this country. And I'm not talking about back of the bus stuff. I'm talking your belief system should be shut down. That's how much I despise it. So hate speech, our laws, our First Amendment, the one I'm doing right now, Silicon Valley, and progressives. This thing I'm doing called talking, that's not up to you. That's up to God. That's what it says in the Constitution. These things are endowed by God. So you try to take something away from us? This is the fact that they don't understand. This is the fact that can't be articulated by the right. We're not violent people. Never. But take away an inalienable right, and you'll see a different kind. Because it's not your place to do it. And you should know that. And you try to take that away from people, you're picking the fight. And that's enough said on that. But that could be how bad it'll get in just a short time. I've seen Obama do so many horrible things to the spirit of this country. It's just terrible. I don't know if it was all him. I don't know what his plan was, a third term. Who the hell knows? I know he wants to take down anything. He wants to take down the West, guys. If you can't see it, it's mind-boggling that there is a move afoot to take down the West. And it ain't coming from the Soviet Union. Oh, a little bit of it from Russia. But where it's really coming from is the fucking Middle East. It's coming from European progressives, communists. It's coming from a lot of places. But they're all jumping on this bandwagon. If they can convince with no proof at all that some guy, and I'm not even going to, whether he's a leader of this country or a follower of this country, is a fucking Nazi. You call people Nazis based on zero evidence. That's insane. That's crying wolf. What happens when you really got to make a call for help? That's horribly stupid and dangerous. God, you can point the finger at fault at anybody. The people who run your show, they're masters of deception. But deception only works for so long. And it's coming to an end. When Maxine Waters is out there telling her followers to go mug people, to not let them sleep and eat in peace. Not like Sarah Sanders and her family. The hell's wrong with you people? What is wrong with you people? The temperament of you. You trying to pick a fight with America? Or obviously you're not trying to pick a fight with America. You're trying to change America. It's horrible. You need to learn. Go to church. Get humble. Get to your core and figure out what's really important. And then when you figure out what's really important, you realize that we all have the same thing in common. And as much as I hate to say it, the Democrat Party and the Republican Party, they like ties. If they're real tied up, close to each other, then any vote can go either way with a couple of speeches. So in other words, if there's a complete and utter balance of power, a complete balance of power, which even without balance of power, with these Republicans controlling Congress and the Senate that aren't really Republicans, they disguise themselves. And not by, I don't know how, I don't think it's a big conspiracy theory. I think it's just the way certain special interest groups get people into office. But we're being run by the corporate world, but not necessarily first. We're being run by the communists, the corporates. We're in a big squeeze here. And it's not going to work. Communists against corporates, what do you think that's going to wind up in? War. You know? Or freedom against communism someday. If we get lucky enough to get enough conservatives in politics to realize that our freedom is the most important thing. And not all these deceptions. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going to go into a gymnasium right now. But anyway, the library, I don't know. I'm afraid to go in there. I am actually afraid to go in that library. And I wanted to see if they had a Preston Childs novel. The New Pendergrast. If you've never read Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child, their first book was Relic. They did a movie on it. TV movie, but good. Very good. And then since then, they've had a couple of dozen follow-up books. They co-write, and they write separately too, and they do good work separately too. But together they have this character called Pendergrast, and that's all I'm going to say. And a very bizarre storyline. That's both I don't know, something you don't read every day. They're unique in their writing. Douglas Preston, Lincoln Child, the Pendergrast series. Thank you.